Remember to check out Patreon. Also, please check out the YouTube channel, especially the new subscribers. There's a section on the very first page of the channel marked instructional. I'm going to keep adding to that. But right now, honesty and dishonesty are pretty important, especially when I'm going over line. You can have a basis of what I'm talking about. Anyways, today we are going over Megyn Kelly. I used to really love Megyn Kelly. I thought she was a really strong, feminine woman. I still like her. This is an interview with her on CBS about Trump and Roger Ailes and her new book. Let's get started.
Fox News anchor Megyn Kelly is opening up about what she describes as her scary year of Trump. In her new book, Settle for More, Kelly describes how Mr. Trump and his campaign unleashed a series of personal attacks. On Twitter, he called Kelly a lightweight, overrated, dopey, and crazy. There were others, too. She writes that his attacks and those of his followers made her, quote, fearful at times for my safety and that of my family.
Megyn Kelly also details the unwanted sexual advances she allegedly endured from her boss, former Fox News chairman and CEO Roger Ailes. He stepped down in July amid a widespread harassment scandal. Megyn Kelly's here. Good morning.
Hi, great to be here.
Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi.
We reached out, obviously, to the Trump campaign for a response and didn't get in. And you have a lot of information here about Donald Trump. And you compare his behavior to bullying, the same kind that you endured when you were in the 7th grade.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the book, Settle for More, includes some chapters on my experience with Donald Trump and my experience at Fox News over the summer and when I...
She's a very confident woman. She's sitting in that chair, and she's always sat with a very straight up back, shoulders placed, and her head up high. So as we see in this interview with these individuals, she's very open as well. And she tends to look down a lot. I've watched this video already, basically looking for a good video. She does require memory to talk to these people, which is really good for us because we can see what's really going up in the gears in her head.
First started there. But in essence, at its core, it's really an uplifting message about getting to where you want to be, how to improve your life. And I think it's something that's more inspirational than it is, you know, gossipy, if you will. But as far as the Trump situation, yes, I thought it was important to document as a historical record what it was like to be on the receiving end of that behavior. And the reason, among others, is that as a First Amendment issue, what Donald Trump did to me has real implications. I mean, I have a powerful microphone and a powerful platform at Fox News, and I had a company that had my back. However, not every journalist...
This is a really actually a good case study. I just realized when watching this the second time. She is extremely still as she talks. Very still. There's different kinds of body singing. Pelosi and her shaky, deceptive body. You've got Donald, and he's always moving. I mean, he literally is dancing. And now we see Kelly, who is going off memory, and she is just so still.
Has that, and not every journalist is...
All right, just that little bit of movement right there has that. So small. It's odd to see it on a woman, the small movements. It doesn't make it any less. As I've said before, these movements are not written in stone that they're specific to gender. It's just kind of odd.
Quite as established as I am at this point in my career. And so if a President Trump were to come after a journalist the way the candidate Trump came after me, I think it could be potentially dangerous. And I think hopefully the book will provide somewhat of a roadmap for said reporters on how potentially to handle him.
We've all heard the tweets, and they were actually, as we all know, very nasty and very negative towards you. But I wonder if people realize what you went through. You and your family had to take an armed guard to Disney World. You have a young daughter who says, I'm afraid of Donald Trump because if he's mad at you, then that means he's mad at me. She was asking, what does bimbo mean? Tell us, Megyn, what it did to you and the family personally.
Well, I mean, it wasn't a delightful year.
I know.
Many people thought it was because they saw me on the cover of some magazines and said, oh, yeah. And it
people
wasn't
said
something...
it advanced your career.
Well, it certainly increased my name recognition in some quarters, but I would submit to you I was doing just fine before Donald Trump.
Okay.
You see that small movement she has, even with her little personality coming out. Very small movements. I will submit to those of you now who just hate Megyn Kelly because what happened, and I've gone over this in previous videos, If they don't ask the question, we're not going to see a body react to something we don't know. You can't pull something from nothing. So if she committed some horrendous murder and they're only talking about her book, we're not going to know if she actually committed a murder or not, because that's not where her mind is at. Not that she did. It's just a analogy.
But that's fine. Yes, it was full of darkness in many ways, Gail, and it was a personal struggle. But, and because of the bullying I had endured for an entire year in the 7th grade, which I go through in the book, and a lot of parents and kids can relate to that, and other adversity.
Now, as we're watching her speak about the bullying, she really believes that's what it was to her bullying. The idea, and it's not going to be challenged at this table so we can't see it, but the idea of her role and his reaction to her, well, she doesn't see it as reaction. She sees it as bullying, so it comes across as truth. But because they don't challenge her on the other side of the argument, we won't see a reaction, and we won't see if she feels that she contributed to it or if she had a hand into it.
I'd had in my life, I was able to deal with it. It wasn't enjoyable, but this is one of the core messages of the book, which is adversity is an opportunity. And when you take a look at people who you admire, who have accomplished amazing things, you're Oprah, right? President Obama, President George W. Bush, they seem to be operating on a higher plane at times. They seem to have a knowledge that many others don't have. How did they get it? They had big challenges. They had bigger issues, and they exposed themselves to greater things. And I think to that extent, you can almost welcome adversity as a chance to grow and hopefully get yourself to that higher level.
And before you start, she's talking about higher levels. She is going off of a memory. She's retelling that, but she's not looking in the direction that would say, I'm looking at an advancement in some area of her life. It literally is, she's only speaking about the mental capacity of growing. That's it. There's nothing else there. It's just the mental capacity of growing, the mental capacity of the people that she named, and they're growing in their mental capacity. Nothing else.
How do you intend to navigate your relationship with him now that?
And just, she does this quite a bit. Well, in this interview, we see it more than once. It's like she purposely closes her mouth. It's like she knows when she's going to say too much. And of course, we can see here, she's wearing an earpiece. But anyway, she closes her mouth quite a bit. She's holding back whatever else she wants to add to it or say. But I promise you, she's not giving any tells that it means an advancement in some other way of her life. It literally is just the mental growth.
That he is president-elect.
Well,
Are you worried about that?
I think we're in a better place. And I actually feel good about where I am with now President-elect Trump. After that meeting.
And that is truth in her. That is actually, when she said, I actually feel good about where I'm at with President-elect Trump, she's giving you her real belief, her truth.
We had at Trump Tower.
Where he hugged you.
He hugged me hello, which was, to me, that felt like not I'm sorry, but let's move on. And this is a picture from his office. And I was glad that he was able to let it go. I mean, that was the point of me being there, was just to say to him, because we had always had a good relationship, just to say basically, not explicitly, but the suggestion was, let's move on from this.
Yeah, stop it.
I don't belong on the playing field with you. I belong over here on the sidelines. And to his credit, he was able to move on, even though he had held on to his anger for 9 months. He did prove that he's able to do that, and ever since, he and I have had a fine relationship. We're not tight friends, but he's treated me respectfully, and he's withstood my coverage.
Oh, it just gets me. I always think of women who could sit there and do the small movements as very elegant. Melania is a small movement type of woman, and so is Megyn Kelly. But she is giving her recollection, which is what she's doing. She's recollecting her interaction with Trump is a true recollection. She's not looking in the areas that would say, I'm trying to construct something else. I'm not looking in the areas, or she's not looking in the areas that would suggest script reading.
Which has been skeptical of him at times. without complaint, and that's fine.
You detail the harassment you received from Roger Ailes, your boss, the chairman of Fox. That started in 2006.
Right. No, it started in August of 2005.
And that was not a memory search. And she shut her mouth on it.
Did it continue after that? Or was it just that short period of time?
So after I brought the matter to a supervisor and was told, this is a good man, he's probably just smitten, there was a vouching for Roger's.
It looks like she's got an eyebrow raised on her left, but it's covered by her hair. This part, because no one saw Roger Ailes as far as the public, did not witness any of the interactions between her and Ailes, but we all witnessed the interactions between her and Trump. She didn't have to convince anyone of the Trump interaction, but she feels that she has to convince people of the Ailes interaction.
Character, and the suggestion was just avoid him, which I hadn't realized was an option, right? I mean, this is the chairman of the company who was calling me up to meet with him in New York. I was in the D.C. bureau. So I did that. I avoided him, and he left me alone after that, Nora. It was that summer, that spring into summer, I developed a very bad stalking problem. And on that matter, he was very supportive of me and had my back, and that's detailed in the book as well.
You do kind of write in the book that had you said something.
I don't know what a stalking problem is. With Ailes, as she recalls what's going on, or as she recalls the incidents and she's retelling the story, she seems to have a more emotional connection to that one rather than an actual memory to it.
Something or done something more, you might have saved other women from experiencing that same harassment.
Well, let me make this clear. What I did when it happened to me was contacted a lawyer, just in case he retaliated against me for not doing anything with him. It's all well documented contemporaneously. I reached out to other women to see whether this was a serial issue or it was just an issue with me. I found no evidence that it was a serial issue at the time. And then I did bring it to a supervisor. Now, as a lawyer, I can tell you that when that happens, a supervisor has an obligation to bring it to the company and deal with it. And the company could be exposed as a legal matter if that doesn't happen.
This was the bureau chief in Washington, or?
I haven't identified the person because I'm not looking to get this person in trouble. I believe at the time they tried to advise me to the best of their abilities. And I think this person, too, understood his power. I mean, Roger was like a king at Fox News. This was not somebody you would take on lightly. I'd been at the company for 12 months. But take my situation out of it, right? I mean, I had been a lawyer, so I knew how to handle it.
Now, I have not watched Megyn Kelly interactions with Trump. I've seen tiny clips, one-line sentences of the snide remarks. I didn't even get to watch the first debate. But she relies so much on memory and her feelings to recall and have this conversation with these individuals. I'd imagine that she would be, I'm trying to catch her in a lie. I would really like it if she would just lie, just so I could sit there and see what she looks like when she lies. And this is where we go back into the belief system. She believes she was harassed by Ailes. Ailes believes he did not. I don't know. I haven't seen Ailes. But as far as she's concerned, her feelings toward that whole situation was that he was harassing her. I'll give you this for the mentality that I see coming out of it, because of how adamant she is and her feelings on it that is coming through. And it's in the way she looks, because she's not accessing memory. She's more on the feeling side of her brain, and her body is agreeing with her, especially when she gets into the feeling mode. The only similar kind of thought process I can give you, someone who does not shake hands and who has been in a culture where nobody touches each other's hands and then comes over to America and does a business deal and has their hand shaken is going to scream assault. That is the closest thing that can come up to my mind right now. Let's continue.
But I think most women who this happens to have no clue what to do. Mm-hmm. They're just scared. And like me, they just wanted to stop. I didn't want to put my career on the line.
And you had only been there 12 months.
12 months.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any of the power I have now.
No, you write in the book, you built your own power, and when the allegations against Roger hit, you used it. I'm wondering what your relationship is like with your fellow colleagues, because Bill O'Reilly was here yesterday. I don't know if you've heard. And your name came up about the book, and this is what he had to say yesterday.
Oh, did you see that one? Watch the corners of her mouth.
Name came up about the book, and this is what he had to say yesterday.
She's trying to keep that smile on her face. Apparently, her and Bill O'Reilly do not have a very good relationship. I think I've heard that they don't. Him or Hannity that she doesn't have a good relationship with. But those little corners where she was trying to force an up smile on Riley. It's like, I don't think you like each other, or at least you don't like him as much.
But I want to be very something that is finished that makes my network look bad. Okay? I'm not interested in making my network look bad.
I like how she does her head. Every time she sits there and does this, her head goes kind of like to the side and down. Almost reminds me of a peacock. Like she mentally digs into what he's saying. And it's not ever in a nice way. Of course, we've always seen her in interviews where she's getting into people. Rarely in a nice way.
At all. That doesn't interest me one bit.
Is that what she's doing?
And then last night he seemed to say,
Oh, and that her face didn't change. She was very practiced at keeping her face very, very still. Now watch the thing. We're going to go over it just a little bit. One, how still her core gets, her body. Watch her head move. And as small as her body movements are with the rest of her body, try to see how still her body is when her head moves, when she's reacting to Bill O'Reilly.
One bit.
Is that what she's doing?
I didn't go back far enough. I apologize.
Bad. Okay? I'm not interested in making my network look.
So her head goes this way and her body shakes this way. Her body is not liking what she's reacting to. She's trying to put a smile on her face, but her body is not. It's got that jerk motion on it. And for her to have such small body movements and to see that jerk come through, it just says right then and there, this is not a happiness. This is extreme anxiety towards this situation. Do not like this, what that's portrayed in front of me, which would be Bill O'Reilly.
Bad. At all. That.
Oh, and we saw that eye squint here. Did that little close in action, just a tiny close in reaction.
Doesn't interest me one bit.
Is that what she's doing?
and then last night he seemed to say, if
And of course, I don't know if. Oh, go back.
One bit.
Is that what she's doing?
Watch her relax.
and then last night he seemed to say, if a woman,
The jaw relaxes, the eyes open up. She relaxed, getting out of that confrontational person that she's looking at. And he was saying things that in her mind, she probably wasn't real happy with. Maybe she wanted him to be on her side. Maybe she wanted him to just kind of laugh it off. But instead, he took a really hard, I'm not interested, and just put a wall up.
if you have a problem, go to human resources or leave the company.
Well, I'll say this. I am very proud of the fact that I discussed this with Rupert and Lachlan.
And then she's talking now, and her body is still is very still, but her head is shaking in this direction, and so is her shoulders. So they're all going in the same direction. They're all. It's not that jerk, instant stop, jerk. It's just same direction movement. It's almost like a vibration with her.
Murdoch before I wrote this chapter in my book. And we were all on the same page that this was an important chapter to include. And I am proud of them that they feel as I do, which is sunlight is the best disinfectant.
So you don't believe you're making the company look bad, as Bill O'Reilly alleged?
She has not moved her hands ever since the whole Bill O'Reilly thing came up. She has closed in herself. And for her, it's a practiced closed in for being a reporter and someone who interviews a lot. I'm sure they've got experts, body language experts that tell her, don't do this with your hands. Don't cross your arms. You need to look open at all times. So she's got her hands folded on top of each other on the table, which is her way in the business to close off.
I believe that Roger Ailes made the company look bad. And I think, my heart is with other women out there. And trust me, this doesn't just happen at Fox News. And, we got rid of ours. But there are men, trust me, out there right now who are doing this to other women, and other women who are watching this right now who are scared and don't know what to do, because they know very well, like I did in the moment, that if you speak up, the reality is, you can talk loftily all you want about, taking
And of course, you see her body is agreeing with her speech.
a stand. The reality is you're going to get labeled as a troublemaker. That's still the world in which we live, Nora. Hopefully less so today than back when it happened to me.
All right, we're going to end it because it's about done anyways. I hope you enjoyed Megyn Kelly. And FYI, 2 videos I have made unlisted. They're still available. They're just available on the social media. I just stopped YouTube from suggesting it to groups of people that are hardcore fans of theirs. And it seems like ever since I've quit or I've unlisted it, a lot of other things have stopped as well, like flagging of people's comments that I don't even know why you're being flagged. I'm sorry. I unflagged you as often as I could get back to the computer through my day. So, I'm sorry, but don't think I didn't see any of your suggestions. I don't care if you rant. I mean, if you haven't seen the comments that I allow to stay there, I really don't care if you rant. And I've seen all your praises for the people that had praises and they were taken down. So, no worries. That's the reason why I did it. It just seemed to stop the harassment that not only I was getting, but you guys were getting as well. And I am so amazed right now with how fast this channel is growing. You guys don't see it yet because you're in lag. It doesn't show up for you. You're behind. But I'm just amazed at how fast this is growing. I'm totally, it's blowing my mind. It is blowing my mind. I can tell you from someone who just used to watch YouTube videos that when they don't comment back to you, the YouTubers, please don't ever take offense. I kid you not, thousands of comments and responses across multiple sites. I thought I was going to be bored. And the sad thing is I want to talk to everyone. And I'm really having a hard time doing it. So my son is helping me moderate, and a few YouTubers that I see on there a lot are helping to moderate as well. And if they were flagging you, it comes up moderators. So no matter, even if they flag you, I will always see what you do and say. So they're the ones that I've picked, they're good people. And if you want to do it, like I said, raise your hand. But I'm just so excited. I can't say that enough. It's blowing my mind. And I really enjoy all the conversations that I have with everyone, even the little conversations. And I try to get to everyone's questions, especially when you get lost between where the videos are and Patreon and things of that nature. Try to answer those questions as fast as I can. I'm starting to put a schedule up on the social media platforms for the videos that I'll be doing for the week. I know a lot of you have already seen them. Facebook, Twitter, and Gab, all 3 will have the schedule. And it's a tentative schedule, barring, nothing weird happens. And I don't come across some person that I don't want to do because they just make me so angry doing it. There's a difference in doing someone who is manipulative and then someone who lives in a belief system and is doing things to protect their belief system. A manipulative person knows that they're hurting and damaging other people for self-gain. Someone in a belief system who is damaging and hurting others is only doing it for their belief system, and they think they're right. They truly believe they're right. Those people I can do without wanting to lash out through the mic and rip somebody's head off. The manipulative ones, like the Nasheed character and the Spencer character, knowing that they're sitting there destroying society with their actions and enjoying it, or so into their world that they don't care, those just make my skin crawl. All right, I'm done rambling. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. If you like it, leave a like. If you like the content, please subscribe. And again, thank you so very, very much.